Welcome to Monster Phonics. My name is Catherine Tilbury and I am a literacy expert and trainer with Monster Phonics, and I'm going to be taking you through the Monster Phonics program and how you can support your child at home with phonics and reading. In the early years and Key Stage 1, phonics is a huge part of learning. From being able to recognise different sounds all around them, to sounding out whole words, phonics is where a child's journey to reading and writing begins. So what is phonics? Phonics is the way we teach children to learn to read and write. The word phonics means sound. So in simple terms, phonics is a method of teaching children to link the sounds and the symbols that represent those sounds together to read and spell. In every school up and down the country, children from reception through to year 2 have daily phonics lessons, usually first thing every morning. Schools have a choice of validated schemes from which to deliver phonics, and your school has chosen Monster Phonics. Monster Phonics has a proven track record in school and will engage your child in reading and writing right from the very beginning. Monster Phonics provides unique elements when teaching phonics, colour coding and of course the monsters. Let's learn a little bit more about the basics of phonics so you can support your child at home. The way we teach phonics, and as a result reading and writing, has changed a lot over the last couple of decades. So your own memories of learning the ABCs might not match your child's way of learning today. In fact, 44 sounds are taught, not just the 26 alphabet sounds. These sounds are no longer taught in the order of the alphabet, but in such an order that children can start to blend and read words right from the very start of reception. Monster Phonics starts teaching the sounds s, t, p, I, and d in the first couple of weeks in reception. The order we teach the letter sounds is important as it maximises the number of words children can read from the very beginning. If you think about it, if we taught children 8 words, they would only be able to read 8 words. But by teaching them 8 letter sounds and teaching them how to blend using these letter sounds, the children can potentially read up to 38 words. We do use a range of terminology when teaching phonics, and your children will come home using words that you may not be familiar with. You'll be amazed at how 4, 5 and 6-year-olds are using words such as split digraphs, graphemes, phonemes, but children love big grown-up words, and if they can learn the complicated names of dinosaurs, they can learn the words associated with phonics. So let's have a look at some of these words that you're going to hear. A phoneme. A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound in a word. For example, cat has 3 phonemes, k, a, t. Sheep also has 3 phonemes, sh, I, p. Although when written down, it consists of 5 letters. This brings us to the next word, grapheme. A grapheme is how those phonemes are written on the page. It is the letter or number of letters that represent a sound. So cat has 3 graphemes, the k, the a and the t. These are single letter graphemes, but we also have digraphs. Digraphs are those where a phoneme is represented by a grapheme that has 2 letters, but it makes 1 sound, such as the ch in chip and the a in rain. And then we have our trigraphs. Trigraphs are when there are 3 letters that represent 1 sound, such as the IGH, the I in light, or the AIR air in pair or stairs. We're now moving on to blending. Blending is merging of the phonemes, the sounds that you hear to make a word. And blending is reading. For example, you hear k, a, t, and merge it together to make the word cat. So let's look at that process closer and how you can support your child blending to read at home. Your child will see the word cat, for example. They then say each phoneme within the word, pointing to each grapheme in turn. They will then blend the phonemes together, moving their finger from left to right to say the word in full, cat. If your child is practicing blending, you will need to encourage them to use this process to read words. In the early stages of learning to blend, you will need to model this process for your child to support them. Lastly, we have segmenting. Segmenting is splitting a word up into the phonemes that make it, then writing the word by representing each of these phonemes with a grapheme. So segmenting is spelling. Let's look at that process again closer and how you can support your child segmenting to spell at home. Your child will hear the word cat. They then need to break that word down into the individual sounds or phonemes. K, a, t. They will do this by saying the sounds and counting them on their fingers. They will then write the word by representing each phoneme with a grapheme. They can use magnetic letters to do this if they're initially reluctant to write or find it difficult to write. The most important thing is that after they have written that word, it is to check by blending the sounds together to see if they've spelt it correctly. So that's the basics of phonics. Let's now look at the Monster Phonics approach to teaching reading and writing. Monster Phonics uses a multisensory approach to teaching phonics. It's really fun and engaging for the children and supports them with their learning. It uses colour linked to the sounds, and this in turn links to a monster. This makes phonics easier to learn and more memorable for children. The colour and context for learning provides those all-important memory cues to support children to remember their learning more easily. So let's meet the monsters and learn a little bit more about the Monster Phonics system.
Let's meet the monsters. Here is Angry Red A. He's an angry but friendly little monster who can be heard to say A, A, A. As well as making the long A sound, he colours all the long A graphemes red. Green Froggy likes to say E. She colours all the long E graphemes green. Yellow Eye spies long I graphemes, which he colours yellow. Miss Oh No makes the O sound when she bumps into things. Oh no, she says. She colours all long O graphemes pink. Yoo-hoo lives in the outer universe. He makes the oo sound when he calls yoo-hoo to all his friends in Monster Phonics land below. Cool Blue is so cool. He says oo and colours oo graphemes blue. Brown Owl calls ow and colours both of the ow graphemes brown. The Silent Ghost helps us to remember the silent letters in words. The sound cue for children is put your finger in front of your lips. The silent letters make no sound. Tricky Witch shows us the tricky letters in words. She says that she likes to trick children by changing the sound to something completely different. For example, the A in want makes an O sound. She waves her wand and turns these letters into gold. Finally, the black letters are all the sounds of the alphabet and the consonant digraphs too. They are known as the black cats in Monster Phonics. Monster Phonics makes phonics easier to teach. and easier to understand, ensuring improved progress and confidence for all.
Here is the complete Monster Phonics system. It is very simple. It consists of the 10 different monsters, each with their own colour and each with their own action. As you can see, the first 5 monsters are responsible for the long vowel sounds A, E, I, O and U. Then we have oo and ow. The silent ghosts are responsible for the silent letters in words, so those letters that don't make any sound. Tricky Witch has the hardest job in Monster Phonics land. She's responsible for those graphemes that don't make the sound we would expect them to make. So she waves her magic wand and turns them gold. This highlights to the children that they need to think about what sounds these graphemes make. Finally, we have our black cats. All our black cat sounds are those which, once taught, are the easiest for the children to retain, so don't need the additional memory cue of the colour. These include all the single letter sounds of the alphabet and the easier digraphs. The posters you can see on screen show an arc of the graphemes around each monster. This arc represents the graphemes in order of frequency, with the common grapheme used on the left to the least used on the right. This can help support children with their spelling when they're thinking about which grapheme they need to write in a particular word. So how does the colour coding work? Here is the Monster Phonics sound chart, and it shows the graphemes colour coded and grouped with their monster character. It is child friendly and very easy for children to use. We have 3 words on the screen: he, my and day, and I'm going to use this chart to help me write them using our colour coding. So let's take the first word, he. The H is a single letter grapheme and is black, cat, so will be written in black. The E represents the long E phoneme, so is coloured green and is represented by green froggy. With my, again, you have the M, which is a single letter grapheme, so black, followed by the Y, which in this word makes the I phoneme, so is coloured yellow and represented by yellow I. Finally, we have day. We again have a black cat single letter in D, and the A digraph is the A phoneme, which is red and represented by the character Angry Red A. So both the A and Y are coloured red. High frequency words are an important part of learning to read and write. It is vitally important to secure fluent reading of these high frequency words, as the first 300 make up 65% of our language, so it's important to make learning them as easy as possible. The high frequency words are grouped in the same way as the graphemes using the colour coding and monsters. This immediately accelerates learning as it makes the words easier for the children to learn. It's a bit like learn one word and get 1 or 2 more for free. It teaches high frequency words by similarity. By colour coding them, as you can see here with we, be, me, he and she, and relating them to a monster, it provides that all-important additional memory cue and really highlights the spelling pattern for the children. We also have some words that are more tricky for children to learn. These are referred to as common exception words. Common exception words are those words where the letters, the graphemes, don't make the sound you would expect them to make. For these words, Monster Phonics uses the character called Tricky Witch. Tricky Witch waves her magic wand on the irregular grapheme, turning it gold and changing the sound made by that letter or group of letters. Children are taught in lessons how Tricky Witch has changed the word and to remember that tricky element of the word which makes them difficult to read and spell. For example, you can see here Tricky Witch has changed the A and I in Z so that it now makes the E sound. When teachers introduce the word, they talk about what Tricky Witch has done, so when they see this word again with the gold lettering, it provides them with the prompt to remember what has changed in the word. Let's now look at some helpful tips and ideas you can use at home to support your child with phonics. You need to be a good model for your child. When teaching phonics or helping children with their phonics at home, we need to use the correct pronunciation for the sounds. As adults, we do have a tendency to mispronounce these sounds. We can often be heard adding an onto the end of the phonemes. So saying m instead of or t instead of t. This is actually called schwarring. And if children don't correctly articulate the phonemes, it will be increasingly difficult to blend to read moving forward. It is difficult to hear a word if you go m-a-t, but if we say m-at, you can hear mat clearly. Children need to be able to articulate the sounds purely. A quick trick is to try whispering the sounds as you say them, as this will prevent that from happening. Let them clearly see your mouth when you speak so that they can watch your mouth move differently for each sound or word, and join them in sounding out some words so they can observe the technique before trying it themselves. And don't panic if you get something wrong. It's always good for children to see that grown-ups make mistakes too. So correct yourself and carry on, unless your child has already corrected you, in which case they're clearly learning something. Let's have a look at how to say each of the sounds correctly.
Hello and welcome to Monster Phonics. Let's learn some pure speech sounds. Ah, ah, ah. T, t, t. P, p, p for pop. I, I, I. Mm. Mm. D, d. G, 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 g. Oh. 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 K, 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 cat. K, 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 kick. K, k, k. Eh, eh, eh. Ah, ah, ah. B, 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 bang. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. J, j, j. Mm. W, w, w. X, x, x. Y, y, y. Z, z. Qua, qua, qua. Ch, ch, ch. Sh, sh, sh. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you soon.
The second thing to do, as with all learning, is practice, practice, practice. English is very tricky to learn, so the more we can make learning engaging and memorable, the better. We can do this by learning in lots of different ways, using all our senses. For example, watching videos, singing songs, writing words, drawing pictures, and lots of physical games and creative activities. It all helps to support memory. It's about having a multisensory toolkit. So let's look at just a few ideas that you can do at home to support learning in a fun and engaging way. Flashcards are a fantastic resource to have at home. You can purchase these from our shop or even make your own. You can use them in a lot of creative ways to help consolidate the learning in school, and they give your children opportunities to practice their reading skills. Word or scavenger hunts are a great way of learning letter sounds and practicing those high frequency words. Hide flashcards around the house and send your child off to find specific graphemes or words. This is always a good game when you're trying to cook the dinner or get the ironing finished. Passwords on doors is another simple but effective game. So try placing a password on the snap cupboard that changes every day or on different doors throughout the house, so your child has to read the word before opening the door. Flashcards can be used in simple target games using skittles, balls, beanbags, hoops or boxes. There are a wealth of variations to these sort of games. For example, stacking the boxes to try and knock down specific words, or even taping the flashcards to skittles. The ideas are endless. Learning outdoors also provides invaluable learning opportunities too. Hopscotch, obstacle courses, and even squirty bottles to target chalk letters on walls or on the ground. These are just a few simple ideas you can use at home. Creative art activities are also a wonderful addition to your home learning. Due to the colour coding, Monster Phonics lends itself well to creative activities, so you can encourage your child to practice their spelling and writing using that colour coding. You can use gel pens, pastels, smelly pens, paints, and building words in 3D also helps memory and helps fine motor skills, which is so important for writing. So creating letters and words using Play-Doh or even salt dough, where you can cook them and then paint them in the Monster Phonics colours afterwards. Children love chalking on the floor, and then they can clean it up afterwards by giving them buckets of water with household decorating brushes for them to trace over. This does really strengthen muscles for fine motor development as well as supporting coordination. The Monster Phonics website has an array of free resources which can be accessed at the bottom of the home page. These include flashcards, PowerPoints and videos. We are now going to look specifically at how you can support your child with reading at home with the reading books. We know your support can have a huge impact on your child's confidence and love of reading. We know that children who love reading and read or are read to often do better in school. So let's now look at how you can support your child at home. Before you can help your child read, it is important to understand how reading is taught in school and what books your child will be bringing home. There are two types of books your child will bring home. The first is a decodable reading practice book. This book will be at the correct phonics stage for your child. They should be able to read this fluently and independently. The second is a sharing book. Your child will not be able to read this book on their own. This book is for you both to read and enjoy together. Let's look at the decodable books first. So when teaching reading using phonics, we use decodable books. Decodable books are books which allow children to practice their phonics using the sounds that they have been taught and know really well. It is so important that children practice their reading using these decodable books or texts because they are the most effective way to teach children to read. It means children are not relying on less effective strategies of picture clues, context, or simply guessing. It speeds up the time they need to gain sufficient accuracy to read a wide range of books. So in effect, learning to read to learn. Let's look at the Monster Phonics decodable books. We have both fiction and non-fiction books. So in the books, the key grapheme is colour-coded in the book along with any high-frequency words that the children are learning. So you can see here the book is the A book, Stuck in the Rain. And throughout this book, all the A graphemes are coloured red to support the children. Once the learning is secure, that colour coding is removed within the books. The high-frequency words stay colour-coded a little bit longer. They're colour-coded throughout the reading stage in which they are taught. Our books also have word boxes at the front to allow children to practice blending those focus words with the target grapheme, as well as the high-frequency words and common exception words that are going to be in that text. These really do support with developing accuracy, fluency and confidence. And then from stage 4 onwards, so the year 1 and year 2 books, there are also wow words. These are included as they really do help and support the children develop and extend their vocabulary and learn new words and their meaning. When we are looking at the text inside the books, we also have an additional feature in the first 3 stages, and that is the inclusion of an adult text. It is a bit like a seesaw approach. The children read the larger print and then the adult reads the smaller print. The text isn't critical for the understanding of the story, but it adds further detail to really bring that story to life. Finally, we also include questions to support comprehension and understanding. These are at the front of the reception books and at the back of the Key Stage 1 books. So they are there when you're at home to talk to the children about the story or non-fiction text and really do help develop your child's comprehension skills. As soon as your child is ready, they will start to come home with a decodable reading book. This book will have been carefully matched to your child's current reading level and their secure phonics knowledge. This ensures your child is reading with 90% fluency, so they're only needing to blend about 1 in 10 words in the text and the rest they can read automatically or at a glance. Monster Phonics provides extensive guidance to schools to support teaching, reading and using the decodable books. Your child will read the book in school with an adult in a small group several times throughout the week, focusing on a range of different reading skills and strategies. Then the same book will be sent home. So remember, when this book comes home, it has already been taught at school and your child should be able to read it to you with little or no help. Please don't worry about this book being too easy. It is not about the book being too easy and not challenging. All the teaching has already happened in school and the rereads at home are for your child to gain confidence and develop a love of reading. So listen and support where needed, but you will find they will need very little support at this stage. They may even try to read the book to you with expression. Give your child lots of praise and celebrate their success. If they can't read a word, encourage them to blend the sounds together. And after they have finished the book, have a chat about it, use the questions, talk about the characters, the plot and the setting. Reading should be a fun, shared experience. So read in a tent, in the garden, cuddled up on the sofa. Let's have a look at reading with a child. You will be able to see how the adult encourages the child to think about what the story might be about even before opening the book. You will see how to use the word boxes at the front of the book and how the child begins to read with fluency and confidence.
Ready to read In the Garden today, Beatrice?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen in the story?
Tricky black cats are gonna chase the bees and it's gonna get the place all messy.
And how will Tricky Witch feel about that?
Cross.
I agree, I think she will feel very cross and the black cats will have to help put everything right again. Let's see what happens then in the Garden. Let's read our focus words first of all. Now this has got two parts to it. It's a polysyllabic word. You can break it up if you would like.
Zigzag.
That was perfect. Great sounding out and blending. What about this one here?
What about
Yeah,
buzz?
wonderful.
Zip. Dig.
Try that one again with a p on the end.
Dip.
Wonderful, B.
Hop.
Super. Your sounding out and blending is brilliant, Beatrice. What about these high frequency words? Can we read these?
The was
Brilliant reading.
in she up. They
You go first then, and then I'll have a turn.
Tricky Witch was in a nest.
Wonderful blending there, B. Tricky Witch is outside, and she's trying to make her garden tidy. At the moment, the garden is not at all tidy, and Tricky Witch is covered in
Mud.
Thank you for helping me finish that sentence. That was wonderful. Shall we see what happens next? Your turn.
Buzz, zigzag. Go, I am
The second type of book your child should also bring home is a self-chosen book, often referred to as a sharing book. This is a book that your child will have specifically chosen for you to enjoy together. They will not be able to read it independently. This book is for both of you to read and talk about together. Sharing and reading books with your child tells them that you think reading is important. Having fun together with a book really does make a difference. Books create emotional responses, and children will gain so much from sharing stories with you. If English is not your first language, don't worry. Talking together about the book in your language is massively helpful too. Always take time to share the book together, talking about the pictures and discussing about what might happen next. Making up voices for characters and enjoying books will have a positive impact for your child because they will know you enjoy reading too. You are their role model. Research clearly tells us these specific happy reading times where you share books with your child will have a long-lasting effect on their language development, comprehension and vocabulary. Most importantly, this time helps your child grow a love of reading and books, and a love of reading is the biggest indicator of future academic success. Engaging children in books prepares them to become committed and enthusiastic readers. They can transform their attitudes to reading. Children learn to focus and share the enjoyment of a story. They learn how stories start and finish and how a plot unravels and is resolved. They learn that books can transport them to different places. The autumn term in reception may look very different. In the first term, most children are learning the blending process and are beginning to build up their fluency reading simple 2- and 3-letter words and will not be on reading books straight away. Please do not worry. It is important at this stage that children have lots of practice blending these simple words and learning the high frequency words to enable them to build up that fluency, independence and confidence. So instead of sending home books, your child's teacher might send home the graphemes, focus words and high frequency words that have been taught during the week. As we said, you will also have a quality picture book, a sharing book for you to share with your child. Listening to and enjoying stories, as we've said, is vital for your child's language development. Once the child is ready, their teacher will allocate them a reading book. Some of our schools will have signed up for our ebooks. This is our reading scheme in digital format. It includes our fiction books, non-fiction books, foundation books and our Key Stage 2 comics. These are easy to access and easy to use on a range of digital devices. If your school is using the ebooks, they will issue you with a login and instructions on how to access these books. If, however, your school is not using the ebooks, we do offer individual parent subscriptions. We offer an annual subscription of £95 per year, which provides you with access for 3 children. Alternatively, you can subscribe monthly at £9.99 per month. We do have unlimited free access, which provides you with access to 20 books. If you would like to subscribe to our ebooks, simply visit ebooks.monsterphonics.com to sign up and get started straight away. As well as the ebooks, we do have a wealth of other resources available to purchase that you can use at home to support your child on their journey to learning to read and write. Firstly, we have our home learning packs. These include a variety of Monster Phonics teaching resources. We have the starter kit at £28.79 and then the deluxe home learning pack, which also includes our fantastic magnetic letters and is priced at £89. You can also buy other resources separately from our website, including our magnetic letters, our flashcards for keywords, high frequency words and common exception words, which are colour coded on one side and then plain black text on the other. We have our grapheme flashcards and we have our monster toys. Thank you for listening to our Monster Phonics guide for parents. If you have any questions or would like to speak to one of our phonics experts, please email us at information@monsterphonics.com and we would be extremely happy to chat to you. Thank you.